Hi, this is Bonnie Lynn Linke with Stamping with Bonnie Lynn. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator and welcome to my studio. Today I am going to show you how I made this card right here. It is out of the Leaves of Holly stamp bundle. The stamp set is Leaves of Holly, which is right here. And the die cuts for it, frames, are right here. These are called the Holly Berry dies. And we have, this is the center one. As you can see, I left paper in there from when I cut out the foil piece I'm using. This is the piece that goes on the back of this right here. And then these are the two solid, for the solid leaves right here. These are the detail leaves right here. These two go together and these two do. And then we have, this just looks like some pine needles, these two right here. This is to cut out your saying. This is for your holly berries, and this is a detail one for your holly berries. But we're not using the actual berries on this one, as you can see. I just needed a couple more quick cards, and this is what I came up with. It took me about 10 minutes to make, and I'm going to show you how I did it. Now, I already stamped the saying for the inside, and it is the Hope and Peace stamp set that I used, and I used Wishing You the Hope and Peace of Christ this season. I love this stamp set. It's one of my favorites out of this year's catalog. Okay, it will probably take me 10 minutes, more than 10 minutes to show you how to make this, but let's get started. I'm going to start with doing my embossing because my greeting was embossed, and I used the Christmas Wishes stamp set. I know there is one that says season greetings, but to be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of that saying, so I never use it. It's always says Christmas or something to that extent. Okay, I put my stamp down and then take my block to it like so. I feel that I get it straighter that way. My Stampin' Pierce mat, because it is a photopolymer stamp set. And so let me get my embossing supplies right here. I know I normally do this ahead of time, but I decided this time I didn't want to. Let's see, I had, okay, yeah, I believe that's everything. Okay. So this is the new kit that they did for embossing. What you get with it are these tweezers to hold your paper, a brush, this to pour your put your paper in here and pour your powder over it, and it has a hole here for putting it back in your jar, and you get an embossing buddy. And I use this all the time in my classes, and my students love it. So we just put some embossing buddy on where we're going to stamp. And that is so the powder doesn't stick where you don't want it to. And then I'm going to just tap, 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 tap. I need to probably re-ink my Versamark. I'm lousy at re-inking my pads. I need to get better at that. How about you guys? Do you remember to re-ink them when they need it, as soon as they do? I don't know if you can see that because Versamark is clear, but I love that. I just like it. Now, what some people will do is they'll stamp in a color ink, like if I did red on white, and means there's no red embossing powder, you just put a clear embossing powder over it, and it will make it look like you embossed it in red. I think that is so neat. Okay. I can set my mat aside for a few minutes. Just do this right here. I like to get as much as I can back. I didn't do it very good. I hit the back. And a lot of times I'll do it a second time. You don't have to. I just think I get a better coverage. All right, and there's really, I'm half blind anyhow, so I can't see any other embossing powder along the way. And then I'll just show you how this works real quick. Normally I wait till I'm all done before I do this. But you just screw off the end and you shake it on down. Use your brush to help it. And just like so. And then you do what I do. You do it, you miss the hole. Or I didn't have it over top the jar, so normally I try not to do it when I'm doing a video for that exact reason. You can even see some of the silver from last time I used it. So I'm just gonna, okay. I hope you're neater at doing this than what I am, because I did not give you a real good example of the way to do it. Okay, and then I'm gonna turn on my heat tool so it can start warming up. And usually I have a smaller piece of paper, especially for my ladies in classes that they're holding, so the tweezers are great. Before these came out, I used to use a clothespin all the time to hold them. And you just get that heat over it until the powder melts. I love heat embossing, and there we go. A girlfriend, the first card I ever made, a girlfriend invited me over to her house to make a Christmas card. And this was about 10 years or so ago, and it was heat embossing. I tell you, I did one of those and I was sold. We lived in a Dale Webb community at that time. I joined the paper craft group at the beginning of the year and have just loved it every step of the way. Okay. Now, if you want to, you can tape your piece, and being my paper is not completely flat, I'm going to grab a piece of tape off of my bigger cut and emboss machine. I love this little machine. We are going to be traveling, hopefully the end of January, beginning of February, if I'm feeling okay. We had a cruise plan for mid-January, but I keep having problems with my pancreas, so we're going to cancel. I need to cancel the cruise this week. And I'm just a little wary of going out of the country. It was a Panama Canal cruise for 15 days. So my husband said, we still got to go someplace warm. So we're going to go someplace warm, and we'll travel by car so I can take some of my paper craft stuff with me. Okay, now I don't think I showed you real good what I did here. I have learned with the mini machine, you can see here how I have these kind of offsets so that not all three, the white piece and number 1 and the number 2 and 3, the 2 number 2 plates, I don't put them all where they're even because it will have trouble catching. I try to offset them all a little bit, and then it catches really great in the mini cut and emboss. And I just love this little machine since I've discovered it, and it's perfect for doing my videos. And this is just purple tape. I find it's really good for taping down your dies. Washi tape works wonderful too. So, okay. Set my stamp aside. I'll clean that afterwards. So, okay, I have everything else all ready. We will have to do a little bit of stamping. White cardstock for my greeting, and I already stamped my saying, and I already stamped that on here in cherry cobbler, but we'll do some stamping of the leaves so I can show you that. So the first thing we want to do is we want to take our cherry cobbler, and you want the mountain on the inside when you're folding. This is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4 on the long side. You fold it in half, and you burnish it with your bone folder. And then I have a piece of mossy green, Mossy Meadow cardstock. It is 5 1/4 by 4 inches. And I have tear and tape on the back already. And I moved it. So that's not a good example for you guys. There we go. And I take off this first one and put it down. And then it's already down. So my card is going to go on pretty straight now. And then we're going to put on the designer series paper, the Boughs of Holly. They are out of that. I apologize to be using something they're out of, but it is the last chance time. So things are selling quickly. But the Leaves of Holly bundle is still available. And I really like this. Okay, just center that on there. And this is 3 3/4 by 5 inches. Again, I hold the one side, I get the one side on, then I remove the tape on the other side. And then I move the last 2 pieces at the same time. One time I didn't do that and try to get this one with that all the way down. It was no fun trying to do that. All right, make sure I get that at the right side. Okay, so next what we want to do is we want to get rid of those. I've already cut this out. This is the Distress Gold Foil that's in the annual catalog. They are temporarily out of it, I think. They may have gotten it back in stock. I didn't check that today, so I apologize. But I like this paper. They could keep that for as long as they want to. Okay, and I forgot to... Let's see if I got it down here. I'm looking, yes, I got a sponge down here. What I do for gluing things down is I use a sponge, and I'm trying to find one with not a whole lot of color on it. These are older sponges. These are from Stampin' Up, but you can still buy sponges other place. Stampin' Up doesn't carry them anymore since they use the daubers. You could probably use a dauber too. You just, as with the sponge, you have to wash it out when you're done using it. So I put a little bit of glue right there. Okay, and I want to, yeah, that's okay. I was going to say I want to put my tape on here for the others, but I can do that afterwards. So I just take some and I sponge some glue on the back of that. And then I'm taking out this piece that I had cut earlier. It is the back of the leaves. And you just want to line that up. Now, I could have cut this out with the double-sided adhesive, the multi-purpose adhesive on it, but I didn't. I didn't do a very good job of that. Let me do it from this side. It's really easy to line up. I'm just a little bit butterfingers today. I think I'm butterfingers every day. So, okay. And now, as soon as we're done, I'll wash that sponge out. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my double-sided tape. You can use your stamping seal for this if you want to. But I'm just going to put a piece down here. You could even glue it if, you know, a lot of people prefer to use glue. I'm just not one of those people. And I'm just going to add a little bit more tape for the leaves. Okay. Let's remove all that. So, last chance sale is going on now, and there are prices up to 60% off. Santa Express paper is on sale. I believe the Santa Express stamp set, and maybe the dies are on sale. Snowman Magic dies, if they still have those, they were on marked down. And the framelits are great, regardless if you have the stamp set or not on those. Then over on the clearance page, there's 4 pages of clearance items. So there's some really good bargains out there. I suggest you look through. And if you don't have a demonstrator, I would love it if you shopped with me. Stampingwithbonnielynn.com will take you to my webpage, and I got links to the store there. And also I have my host code on there. If you use that, for every $25 in merchandise you buy, I give you a point. And once you get 10 points, you get a $25 gift certificate to use from me. Okay. Now, if you would have used the double-sided adhesive to go on these before when cutting them, this would have already had tape on it. So that would be a good reason to use it. But I just sponge a little bit of glue on it. And then just press it down. So, okay. Now I got to get the glue off my finger, so I'm going to grab me alcohol pad. Hand sanitizer works really good too, but I don't have any. Oh, I do have hand sanitizer in here. I didn't see it. But it just takes the glue off and is really good. Takes it off your rubber mat too. All right, so that's done. Now we want to put our ribbon on. This is the, what is this called? And I don't know if there's any more of this left. I love it. It is the white and gold satin edge ribbon. I just love this ribbon. This is one they could keep around and I wouldn't mind a bit. But figure out where you want it to go. And the way I do this, I'm not real good with ribbon. So I put a glue dot down there, right where my saying is going to go. And then I'm going to put another glue dot down. And then one more. And this was a 12-inch piece of ribbon I cut. That looks good. And the ribbon will all stay on the card. I'm going to cut this one edge because it's fraying some. So there we go. Okay, now we'll get our greeting, and I'm going to rub that embossing powder, the embossing buddy powder off. That came off, no problems. And then I'm going to get a couple dimensionals. Oh, see my fingernails? Aren't they pretty? That's a Christmas tree. It's a man that does my nails, and he doesn't like doing nail art, but he did the snowmen, and he did the color. Then his wife works there, and she did the tree, and she did the Grinch. I just love the Grinch. I think she did good on there. I don't like really long nails. She said it would be so much easier if I would have longer nails, but she's a sweetheart, and she always does any nail art I want. So, and I like having fun things. And I'm going to see my grandchildren this next weekend, and I made them when they were little Grinch quilts for Christmas. And so they'll like the Grinch. That's our thing. Okay, so now we have a little bit of stamping to do. I already did the saying right there, and I wanted to show you how I did the leaves. So let me grab a piece of paper because this is going to go off and I don't want to get the ink all over my mat. Just grab a piece of paper to put under there. And grab my stamps. Okay, for this, I want to use the smallest of the two. So I'm going to use this leaf right here. I'm going to get this other block. And then this is the one with the detail on it. Okay. And I used Old Olive ink. The Mossy Meadow I feel would have been too dark, so Old Olive is what worked for me. So I'm going to ink up my stamp, tap, tap, tap. I'm going to stamp off. Oh, and I got ink up there, so I'm going to put this up a little higher. There we go. And then I'm going to repeat that again. Stamp off. Put that on there. I'm going to grab my envelope because I want it on the bottom corner. Stamp off. I must have ink on my finger because I just got more ink on it. Okay, and that I'm kind of missed. I didn't press hard enough. You should hold this for about 5 seconds. There we go. Good enough. And let's say I'm done with that one. So now we want this one. And being I got the envelope up here. I don't know where the ink's at, but I'm getting it on things. Oh well. Oops, I didn't stamp that. Very good. Okay, now full strength. You just want to lay it over where you stamped before. And it gives you some detail. And you'll see it more on here. Okay. I'm trying not to get my head in here as I line this up. There we go. Isn't that pretty? I like it. And that one I'm off a little bit. I'm trying to keep my head out of the camera, so that happens when you don't put your head, but it's no big deal. It looks perfect. Well, not perfect, but it looks great. So, and there we go. So now I'm going to grab my tape. And put it on. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I cheat on the inside of my cards. I don't always use the cardstock. I buy a good quality paper from HP. You can get it at Walmart and a lot of other stores. And it's, I believe, 60 pounds. So, because our card, it's either 60 or 80 pounds. But I get like 250, 300 sheets for $20 some. And with teaching classes and everything, you know, I need to consider that. And it works great. Because as you can see, you can't really see through it that much. So if you do make a mistake, you do need to throw it out instead of turning it over. But I like the way it works. And it just has a nice quality shine feel to it and a little bit of a shine too. So that's what I do for my card insides. Now there is sometimes I do need to use the white cardstock. It just depends on what I'm doing and what type of card it is, what type of fold. Because if it's a fun fold and you're butting it up to another piece of paper or something, you do need them to match level-wise, the thickness. But this is a wonderful idea, and it's a lot more cost-effective, and I know that's important to all of you. Okay, there we go. We are done. The only thing I didn't do that I normally do, and I'll show you. Now, I do use the limited edition stamp sets a lot of times to stamp on the back of my cards, you know, one of a kind or something like that. But on cards that are going to family members or friends, I have had a stamp made that says handcrafted by Bonnie. And I've actually have one on order that said made with love by Bonnie. So, and I'll use this a lot of times for cards I'm going to sell. Now, if I'm doing that, I do take out for my limited edition. I like having my name on them for family members and everything. So that's why I like the Bonnie one. But I cannot, I don't know where I put it. My Stampin' Up stamp, it's not in here. So that means it's somewhere in this studio. So I will put, if I'm reselling them, I do make sure I have the Stampin' Up trademark on there because that is required, their angel policy. So there we go. There is the card. And here is the envelope. Now you could put a couple embellishments on that. Let me grab some real quick. This here is a tray of embellishments. As you know, they last a while. And I do not have current ones up at the front. I don't have them separated. Well, let's just use the red festive petals. Because I know I have another pack with the gold ones in there that I was going to put on there. But let's just do the red for this. And we'll just put them on the each side of wishes. There we go. I like that. Very nice. All right. That is our card today. And I thank you for joining me to make this card. And I hope you like it. And I hope you have a wonderful Christmas season. Whatever your plans are, whether you're if you're traveling, please be safe and enjoy whoever you spend Christmas with. And remember that Christmas is all about Jesus as we celebrate this holy season. So thank you very much for joining me today. I wish you all a Merry Christmas, and I'll see you next time. It will probably be a couple weeks, probably after Christmas before I'm back on YouTube. So thank you much, and Merry Christmas. Bye.